Hello and welcome to day 3 of my Advent of Code 2020 series. So today's the first day that I decided to go ahead and stay up to do the challenge as soon as it was released. And it was a lot of fun just being able to do it right out of the gate. Remember, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to see the future Advent of Code videos, and check out the Advent of Code playlist right here, which will have all of the days so far up until whenever you're watching this. So today we had day 3. I stayed up to do it, and I placed, I think, 1,300th or something. I don't know. People are ridiculously quick on this. But here we go. So this is the problem this time. You can see the starting input. It looks pretty daunting, but it's actually a lot easier than it looks. So what we get is we have to navigate the topology to get to our airport. And what we have to do is we're given this grid. And it apparently repeats infinitely to the right, as we see here. There are open squares represented by dots and trees represented by pound symbols. And what we need to do is count all of the trees that we land on for the first part if we go at the slope of 3, 1. So if we go ahead, please go ahead and give this a try before you check out my solution. And we're going to jump into my code right about now. Okay, so the way that I did this is I just broke it out into a find trees function, because I assumed that probably what was going to happen for the next one is it was going to ask about other slopes because of the way it was worded. So this find trees function takes in inr, which is just an array of the lines that we saw in the input, and then how many steps we're doing on our y, and then how many steps we're doing on our x. So then I set a current y variable, a current x variable, and a count variable for how many trees we've encountered. And then I say, while my current y is less than the length of the in array, that means before we've gotten to the end of the, I don't know what to call it, a maze, map, whatever, while that's not the case yet, if the thing at our current indices, which is going to be in array sub current y sub current x modulus the length of each of the lines, because remember it said that it repeats infinitely to the right, so that's one thing you have to take into account, and we do that with this modulus. So if that's a tree, then we increment our count by 1, and then after that, no matter what, we up our y by the amount of steps we take in y, and we up our x by the amount of steps we take in x. Once that loop is done running, we return our count. So then for part 1, we just need to return that for 1, 3, which is our step, because we're going 1 down and 3 to the right. So if we go ahead and submit that, then that gives us the right answer. For my input, it was 247. And then moving on to part 2. Part 2 is, again, I was correct, it uses the same thing, except for now we have 5 different slopes, and we have to find the product of the number of trees for all of them, which is a pretty common pattern for these Advent of Code problems. So if we go ahead and jump into my code right here, you already saw it before because it's very simple. I just made a list of slopes this time instead of just doing the one slope. I set a tree product to 1. And that's just going to hold our actual product. And then every single time through that list of slopes, I do find trees on that list, and then we just multiply it into tree prod, and then we return back that tree prod at the end. And with that, I got that answer. I'm not going to try to read that number right now. And there we go. That was the solution. So today was another relatively easy one. And they're starting to look more intimidating, but still, if you figure out what the underlying algorithm is, these are still pretty simple. I highly recommend you try them out as a beginner. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss any of the future Advent of Code episodes. Tell me if you like this new format of me doing them and trying to release these videos as soon as the problems come out. So this time it should be up within 30 minutes of the problem going out, which I think is pretty good. Be sure to give a like to this video, check out the rest of the playlist here, share this video with anyone else who is interested in Advent of Code, and I will see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.